Right now, back to how Russian hackers might have tried to influence the U.S. election. President-elect Donald Trump weighed in this morning on Twitter. If Russia or some other entity was hacking, why did the White House wait so long to act? Why did they only complain after Hillary lost? Let's bring in Miriam Weaver on the left, Amy Jo Clark on the right, collectively known as Chicks on the right of Indianapolis radio fame. Ladies, always nice to see you. Thank you.
Hi, thank you for having us.
All right, so let's put aside for a moment the issue of whether this would have made any difference in the election or not. The fact was there was hacking that went on during the election. Is it worth figuring out who's responsible? Is this something that your listeners in Indianapolis care about, or are they sort of just ready to move on as the president-elect would like to do?
I think people are ready to move on.
We're ready to move on.
So ready to move on, yeah.
Now, if there's been a hacking, surely, and of course it should be investigated, whether it's Russia or it's China or it's like two losers in their mom's basement, it should be investigated. But the way that the Democrats are harping on this as if it's going to change anything is they need to get over it.
Yeah, because it makes them look like sore losers. I mean, I think at this point we're like a month past the election, and it totally makes them look like sore losers.
Well, you make that point, Amy Jo. It's sort of the same point that the president-elect was making in his tweet. We just heard, though, from Lindsey Graham, esteemed senator, foreign policy expert. Take a listen to what he had to say.
This is not a Republican-Democratic issue. I want to punish them for interfering in our elections, trying to destabilize the entire world, democratic movements throughout the world. And if you don't, the Chinese and the Iranians are going to see this as weakness, and they'll come after us when we take them on.
You know, Miriam, so much of the president-elect's campaign was about how we're going to make America win again. Does a winning America allow its elections to be hacked by anybody?
Well, I don't think the election was hacked. I think what happened is that there was information that was leaked that made Democrats look really bad, and perhaps that swayed people's opinions. But until all of the intelligence agencies can actually agree on what exactly happened and who committed the leaks or who turned in that information, we need to stop acting as though we have all the answers already.
Yeah, and it'd be different if, you know, it was like the Russians came in and they interfered with our voting machines. That's not what happened here.
Point well taken, Amy Jo. A report from NBC News this morning about this, citing some sources with inside the intelligence community, saying they think that this is Putin, Russia politics and tactics 101 of trying to sort of sow distrust within an election. We saw it happen in Ukraine. We saw it happen in Georgia, the country of Georgia. And now, at some level, it appears as though they're sowing this sort of distrust and at least influence, if you will, in a U.S. election. Does that bother you at all? Is Putin getting what he wants here now?
I just don't see evidence of that.
Right.
I don't.
Yeah.
I mean, you see evidence of the Russians or somebody else?
I don't see evidence of that. I think the reason that Trump won the election is for, you know, things like people have been called sexist and misogynist and racist and homophobes. I mean, there's so many other reasons that Trump won the election other than this Russia thing. Or, you know, I mean, there's just a whole plethora of other reasons that he was elected besides this.
Yeah, people are really grasping onto this as if it's going to make a difference in the outcome, and people just need to let it go.
You're hearing this from your listeners as well.
Oh, my gosh, so much. And we know that. I mean, Democrats are just so unhappy with the outcome of this election, and it's just so obvious.
Ladies, always wish we could have more time to talk. I know you will on your show later this afternoon. Great to see you as always.
You too. Thank you.
Thanks for coming on.